Welcome to Mrs. Moneybags Live. I am your host, Nicole Williams, aka Mrs. Moneybags, and this episode is sponsored by quickequity.ca. Quickequity.ca getting you to your money fast by providing mortgage solutions to clients all across Canada. I am a mortgage agent level 2, and I thank you for tuning in to this episode of Miss Moneybags. And let's get right into it. How was your weekend? How was everyone's weekend? Well, I will tell you, my weekend, as many of you already know who follow me, was full of basketball. My eldest daughter did her senior day with her high school. So exciting. Her last high school basketball game. And my son had a series of games. He's playing in a league here in Ontario. And my middle daughter, she had just some practices. So very, very, very busy weekend for us. How was your weekend? Let me know how it was in the comments below. But let's get right into it. Let's get right into the show today. So here is your summary of mortgage and housing news from across Canada for Monday, February the 26th, 2024. Goodness gracious, February 26th already. It feels like the month is just going, going, going. I hope everyone is staying encouraged and everyone is staying on task. The important thing that this show is all about for this year is about realigning ourselves back to basics, getting back to basics, ensuring that our financial foundation is solid and ensuring that we are not building on a house of sand. We are ensuring that our foundation is strong and that we are creating smart and wise money decisions that will help us so that when we look back at November and December of 2024, we can be proud with all that we've accomplished. Okay, so again, here is your summary of mortgage and housing news from across Canada for Monday, February the 26th, 2024. Let's get right into it. So, the first article that I really want to discuss is there's a new free program that is going to introduce high school students to a career path in commercial real estate. This is very exciting. Okay. Yesterday, I actually did a presentation for some youth here in Ontario, and this was something that I wish I had seen yesterday, so I could have shared this with them. But nonetheless, I'm sharing it with you, and I'm certain you're going to share it across the internet for me. Okay, so that's my ask. Share this video with somebody that you know can benefit from this. So the article says free program helps introduce high school students to a career path in commercial real estate. An Edmonton based program that helps introduce racialized high school students to the world of commercial real estate has expanded its reach to Calgary. Andrew Wisdom, co founder of REIT Institute, says his goal is to create more diversity in commercial real estate spaces. So he's helping lead a program to connect students with mentors and educators. What we try to do is create this program that gives an immersive experience into commercial real estate so that people can, from a young age, have an opportunity to have an opportunity to plan and strategically get themselves involved in the space. Wisdom said in an interview with CBC radio program, The Calgary Eye Opener. Wisdom says the program opens the doors for young people to intentionally find the space, introducing them to new career avenues that they haven't explored before. I think the story for a lot of commercial real estate professionals is that they end up just falling into the industry. The REIT Institute says the free 8-week program specializes in introducing Black, Indigenous, and people of color high school students in Edmonton and Calgary to commercial real estate. Participants will attend both virtual and in person classes and workshops, plus network and professionals in the field. And there's also an opportunity for students to compete for prizes. Upon completing the course, students will get a chance to present commercial real estate pitches to a panel of industry experts to showcase what they've learned. The REIT Institute launched its first iteration of the program just over 2 years ago in Edmonton. The program has now expanded and saw its third cohort of Calgary students over the weekend. We have a grade 12 student from Edmonton who recently participated in the program. I've always known I've wanted to go into business, but I was very sure and I was never sure exactly what area of business I was going to get into, said the student. Once I did the REIT Institute, I was like, okay, real estate might be a good opportunity. He'll be graduating this year and plans on heading into post-secondary business program with a few other friends who have also taken the REIT Institute's 2-month course. A grade 12 student who recently participated in the REIT Institute says he has now plans to pursue a career in business. They added that students also got the opportunity to learn more about the financial components of real estate. We talked to a banker and he was like, this is how much of a loan I can give you. You need this much money, he said. It became more real, and that made it so much more fun. What we set out to achieve for Wisdom and his co founders, it's surreal to watch students evolve. It's really an incredible feeling, he said. When we're going to a lot of these events and we're seeing them actively participate in the industry outside of the 8-week program that we had built for them, it's just we what we set out to achieve. It's an experience Wisdom says he wishes he could have had as a teen. It's a bit of a tearjerker as we kind of see them progress. It's so cool for us to just root for them and continue to try and support them however we can. The program stands out because it wasn't stressful or intimidating, says the student. It felt like you were talking to your friends. They can teach you stuff and it just feels natural, he said. So, what's next for the program? Making even more room for growth and expansion according to Wisdom. Wisdom and his REIT Institute team members are hoping to offer the program in more remote locations for the high school students who can't make it into Alberta's largest cities. We've been getting interest about bringing this program to different parts of the country, he said. We're actively looking at how we can do that in a way that is sustainable, but also in a way that will continue to maintain the quality. This is amazing. So, this is an opportunity for high school students to get firsthand, kind of an up close experience and a look into commercial real estate. I myself, as a mortgage agent who has been in this space for so many years, I realize that there is definitely a need for more eyes and more information to be shared about the commercial lending and the commercial real estate component, especially because people typically think of only residential. But we must remember commercial is immersed within our communities, within our country, within the world. So, getting more people familiar with commercial real estate, I believe, will only help to encourage the next generation to be involved in commercial real estate. What are your thoughts? Do you think a program like this should be rolled out throughout the whole country? And do you think that what these individuals have created is something that would be beneficial in the long term? Drop your comments below. We want to get some interaction from you just to kind of hear what you think. I've shared how I feel. What are your thoughts? Drop them in the comments below, okay? Drop them in the chat below. Let's get to the next article. So Midland is exploring idea of tiny homes for lower wage workers. Okay. So we know housing is the topic at hand for everybody. People are talking about affordability. We've heard inflation for the past, I would say, year to 2 years, where people are probably inflationed out. But it is a reality of where we are. So let's see what Midland is trying to create, and let's see if this is something that we believe may be beneficial for the rest of the country as well. Midland exploring idea of tiny homes for lower wage workers. Could affordable tiny homes be coming to Midland? Council recently heard a deputation from Habitat for Humanity requesting assistance for a pilot affordable housing project that could see tiny homes for lower wage workers on a lot sized parcel in town. The presentation by Kate Group, chair of the North Simple chapter of Habitat for Humanity, was based on a 2023 Vital Signs report for Huronio Community Foundation that looked at trends for the quality of life in local communities. Most of the rental housing starts at around 1,800, said Root, citing last year's Attainable Supply Action Plan by the county. For that, you need an annual household income of $74,000. Through the Stats Canada census, we know that the median annual income for residents in North Simcoe is 38,500, a far stretch from the 74,000. Our vision is to put approximately 5 to 7 houses on a residential lot, prefabricated with efficient heat pump technology, meeting all OVC standards, less than 400 square feet, one bedroom accessible units, housing lower waged workers, Root said. Habitat for Humanity, of course, shares our vision, and we're working hard with them to make this a Habitat for Humanity project. Several concept slides were shown during the presentation showcasing possible configurations and blueprints for a municipal lot to accommodate the tiny homes. As Reed explained, that the project cost for each home was roughly $130,000 based on a quote from not-for-profit community builders. To finance and maintain the units would total over $1.4 million, which would be offset by support from government and community with potential grants and a mortgage. What Root was asking for in the deputation was land for the project, as well as many municipal considerations for taxes, fees, a look at zoning and bylaws, and more. Deputy Mayor Beth Prost thanked Root for the presentation, but cautioned the ask is far beyond what our council would be able to do at this time. It doesn't mean we can't look into it and have staff come up with something. Questions posed to Root by council members were responded to with the same reply, that it was the donation of land by Midland that was the first step in the process. Root passed the discussion to housing pilot proponent Gord McKay when asked what is required by Simcoe County of the proposal. What they're looking for, first of all, is affordability, and we will certainly match that, stated McKay. We're looking at a price point of $800 to $900 a month, so it's truly affordable. Beyond that, you've got to have proper maintenance, you've got to have proper building standards, and these are all baked into our proposal here. In terms of the early discussions with county, they are very pleased with this, but to be honest with you, there is no specific mechanism right now at the county to fund this, McCase noted. Mayor Bill Gordon reiterated his commitment to the pilot project, which he said could lead to replications at the national level. However, his concern related to the offering Midland surplus land, which he estimated between 250,000 to 550,000 per service lot, as well as pitching the idea to residents that affordable housing may be in store for an empty lot next to their own home. We have worked closely with Habitat for Humanity and this project where you're looking after building maintenance, tenant vetting, and doing all the heavy lifting that will help a lot with the NIMBism and some of the complaints that may follow, said Gordon. 2 staff reports were noted as upcoming, with one being a list of surplus properties for Midland to provide to Simcoe County as part of the larger municipal partnership call for proposal, and the other as a response to the town's wider criteria of surplus land, which could serve affordable housing prospects as shown in the deputation. The Housing in North Simcoe presentation slideshow is available in the council agenda on the town Midlands website. So, what do you think about this proposal? So, again, it's not passed, it's a proposal. They are proposing that this county donate land so that they can build prefabricated tiny homes to put in lower income individual. As you heard, the income that is required for the typical renter is 74,000. However, the median income in Simcoe County, which is where they're drawing this information from, is 38,500. So the median income needed for a rental is almost double what the actual median income for that area is. And again, just a reminder, most rental housing starts at about $1,800. So from an affordability perspective, they are trying to bring this number better in alignment to match the actual income thresholds of the actual community. What are your thoughts on this? What jumps out at me is the fact that the average household is making 38,500, but you need $74,000 to actually qualify for the $1,800 a month price tag. So whether city council agrees with this, votes it in, makes some tweaks or some changes, something is needed. You can clearly see by the numbers that something is needed. And if not, we will have a crisis within this particular community. Because if they're charging rent for $1,800 and people can't afford it, what might happen is you might have people that are having to share accommodations. We are already starting to see a lot of that in certain parts of the GTA within Ontario, where you have people who are probably a room or an apartment that can house perhaps 4 to 6 people comfortably. We are hearing reports where sometimes there's 20 people in that one unit, and the reason why you would have almost double the capacity in a specific unit is for examples just like this. Because if the rent is 1,800 and it requires 74,000 in annual income, and you're only making 38,000, where do you think the shortfall will come from? You're either going to get into this unit and can't afford it, then you're going to be evicted, or you're going to be looking to perhaps rent with somebody, or you probably are going to be subletting. And this is what we are seeing, right? So I do believe that this may pose as an option. I'm not saying that this is the end all be all, but what I will give is that they are actually trying to get a solution in the works. So instead of disregarding what they are suggesting, I hope the municipality really starts to work at perhaps A, implementing what they've suggested, or B, finding solutions that can help bridge the gap. What are your thoughts? Drop your comments below. Okay. So let's get into today's financial tip. Today's financial tip is all about living intentional. As I mentioned earlier, yesterday I had the pleasure of speaking with a group of youth, and just to kind of go over intentionality when it comes to money and their resources. I had to share a couple of Mrs. Moneybags money affirmations with them because we are looking to help uplift the next generation and ensure that they are equipped with all that they need to be financially secure. So, again, today's financial tip is all about being financially intentional with all that you do. Set your intentions. What are your goals? What are you working towards? What are your plans? Are you sticking to those plans? Are you being intentional with the things that you decide to do? Are you being intentional with how you spend your money? Are you being intentional with who you spend your money with? Again, sometimes we get money in our hands and we don't even think, we just spend, 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 spend. But we are looking to build intentionality with how we operate with our finances. Today's tip is all about your intentions. Now, as I said, we did go over some Mrs. Moneybags affirmations yesterday with these youth as well, and they absolutely enjoyed them. So let's get into the Mrs. Moneybags money affirmation of the day. I am aligned with the energy of abundance. I am aligned with the energy of abundance. Let's say this together 3 times. I am aligned with the energy of abundance. I am aligned with the energy of abundance. I am aligned with the energy of abundance. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning in to Mrs. Moneybags. We will see you again tomorrow.